Weird.
Welcome to the Teaming Up Show. I'm here interviewing Matt Healy today, where we're going to uncover some of the things that have made Matt successful in real estate, and that's kind of our job here on the show. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about converting leads, and specifically converting lead or buyer lead scripting, because Matt has been, you've been in real estate 6 or 7 years, and you've been strong in real estate sales full time for about 5 years.
Correct, yep.
And Matt has had a lot of success running the Pomerleau team's buyer agent department.
Yep.
So let's dig into some of the things that made you actually probably one of the top buyers teams in the country.
So I would just start by saying whether it's leads coming through your CMA system, whether it be
CMA, you mean
contact management database.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. CMA, CRM.
CRM, that's it. Okay, with your CRM.
Database management system, so DMS, whatever. Okay, yeah.
Whether you're going through that or you're going through calling expireds, cancels, whatever it is, obviously it's going to make a difference. On my side of things is primarily what I call is going to be follow-up leads that come through and request information on a property, or they're paid for leads through AdWords or any other websites like.
So a lot of limiting beliefs that I've seen, or because I've been around a lot of newer agents, and I've seen what you've done differently than a lot of the newer agents, is you really, first of all, you had no limiting beliefs that you couldn't, when someone's on the phone, that you couldn't get them motivated and the people that were able to buy a home into the office. And not only that, you're able to really knife in there to get a conversation going, and you kind of interrupt their pattern. I see a lot of times. Which is a lot different, because a lot of people say, oh, there's a property, and they just want information about that property, and you just give them that information, then you never talk to them again. And I'd say you've really gone around that.
Well, a big thing, and I talk to other agents too, and the biggest thing that I've seen is that, I'm calling on 123 Main Street, I want to go see it, and the agent's like, oh, great, when do you want to see it? And hoping that they're going to convert them at the property or convert them once they meet them, and like, oh, let's go look at a couple other ones, and hoping that's going to work.
And I've heard a stat one time that there was a top coach that said about one out of 20 would convert if you got them at you met them at the property and got there, versus what we have found, if we get, it's like 18 or 19 out of 20, if we get them in the office, we get them under contract.
Now, no question, it's going to be much more of a salesy process to try to uncover and unearth a lot of the things that they may not want to come to terms with you or tell you about. But the reality is, they want to see the house. That's all they want to see, and you have to come through and find kind of a roundabout way, like you had brought up, to more or less, convince them otherwise on the reason for their call, or at least one of the reasons for their call.
Yeah. So we have some notes here of like finding their pain points, getting over objections, but also something about like you make it fun. You make the calls different and you make them fun. Because there's sometimes you get some ordinary people on the phone, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, let's just give this the best example. So you walk into Best Buy or you walk into a car dealership, whether you're there to buy a car or buy a TV, and the first person that comes in and says, hey, can I help you out with anything? Your initial response, no matter what, is going to be no. I'm just looking.
Right.
You're there to buy
That's so crazy, because I say every single time.
Yeah,
no matter what. I didn't even hear what they said to me. I'm just saying no.
Yeah, and it's the same exact thing. And so when I hear no on the phone, it doesn't matter to me. It's just finding their really desires and what their needs and wants are on the phone. And to doing that, sometimes you have to make it fun or to trip up their normal path. So if they've talked to 3 or 4 other agents, you better believe they're going to do the same thing.
And what I was going to say is you're not even going to let them get to a place where they're going to be able to say no a lot of times.
Right. I'm going to give them so much value and let them come to their own conclusions on the phone that it's almost like it was their idea.
Everyone's going to be different.
Everyone's going to be
for
different.
Sure. So doing 20 and 30 or 40 of them is going to make you better and
the
better.
The most important thing in that is going to be a couple of things. One is going to be understand exactly what you can use to bring them into the office, whether it be low on information, whether it be you have a secret list of homes, whether it be they just haven't found anything on the market. And I hear that all the time. Inventory is low, I can't find anything. Well, one of the scripts I use is, are you confident at this point in time you're seeing 100% of the homes on the market? Nobody ever answers that with a yes, right? And so the big piece is going to be, okay, I've realized that big pain point that they've had is they're not confident they're seeing everything out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them to the office by saying, when you leave, you're going to be confident you're going to see 100% of all those homes. And that alone will bring them in. Or if Josh's situation where he just doesn't know anything, and then it's really easy to sell them on the information that they're going to gain by coming into the office. I'm doing that by just trying to ask as many questions as I have in a short amount of time, and try to keep them on the phone as long as possible, and just have a conversation with you.
Yeah, that's really good. And like I said before, as I've really heard you sometimes just interject something, just kind of not maybe funny or not, but just something kind of almost from left field.
Well, I don't want to be like every other real estate
pattern interrupter.
Yeah,
basically.
I don't want to be like every other agent that's out there that's asking the exact same questions. We just got 10 feet of snow, and I'll ask them and say, "Are you shoveling it, or do you got a snowblower?" It doesn't make any sense as far as reasoning, but they've never heard that from a real estate agent. And you're just trying to break down some walls and some barriers that they may have with that. And you're going to do that through empathy, and you're going to do that through your tone. And it's not even what you say all the time, but how you say it. Mm-hmm. And you're doing it in a sympathetic or an easy tone of voice versus being, and this isn't always the case, but if you're being, like with Josh here, I want to be very empathetic and try to understand but if I'm talking to somebody that's very direct and try to drive the conversation, I'm going to be, lack of a better word, kind of a mean agent, just to push them and say, listen, I'm going to save you a whole bunch of time. You don't want to sit there and drive around and waste your time. I want to make sure you've seen 100% of the homes market. Let's see it. Okay.
Well, basically, you're saying you're matching them. So you're not. You said you're not. You're going to push, but you're matching them because they're really pushy. So you're going to catch up to them. So you're kind of talking in the same way that they would talk to them, so they respect you.
Yeah. If they're an 8, I'm going to be a 10. If they're a 10, I'm going to be a 12. I'm going to be a couple notches above whatever they're at.
So you're getting their attention. You're driving the conversation.
Yeah. I'm always going to try to drive the conversation.
That's really good. Well, do you think that's good for the converting lead scripts, especially this is kind of the buyer scripts? We good on this video?
I think so.
Okay, great. So thanks for thanks for coming to the Teaming Up show, and we're going to do another one right next where we're going to talk about buyer consultations and best practices, because you've done hundreds of those and you've helped agents do hundreds of those.
That should be fun. Good video.
Yep, tune in.